welcome. It's Friday night, it's 9 p.m. and we are back here on
How to Ace Your Career.
So guys, as you know, we come here every Friday night to help you with some kind of challenge in your career, especially for mid-age professionals. When I say mid-age means people with 15 plus years of experience. Either they are going through career stagnation or they are going through some challenge in the work life, in the day-to-day work life, or probably they don't know how to become a better leader, or they're looking for a job shift because they have not got the ratings that they were expecting. Whichever way, when a person is stuck in the career, that's where they reach out to us. And we have been doing this for a decade now. So I'm Newton, I'm a career and a life coach, and I've been coaching mid-age professionals to help them ace their career. And
yeah, I'm Dheeraj. I'm a career coach, business coach, and a life coach. And both of us together, we formed this company, ND Life Coaching.
So today again, as usual, we come here with a wonderful, amazing topic. But before we get into that, I want to get on with a discussion with you. I'm on a discussion mode today, and I would want all of you to really participate on how relevant is the situation that I'm discussing with you. So welcome each one of you for today's live. Every time when I strike some conversations about career growth, the common thing that comes to us is, if I ask you, what's your career growth plan? How are you planning to move ahead? The first answer that comes to me is, I'm aiming for the next promotion. Sounds familiar? Okay. And then when I probe further, okay, so when is going to be the promotion? Well, in our company, a promotion is expected in 3 or 5 years based on where I am. And for that, so suppose if it is 3 years later, I get the next level promotion, I have to get topmost rating for 2 out of the 3 years. Probably if it is about hike in the salary, for a substantial raise, my company's typical policy is 2 to 5% of hike. And if I have excelled in the rating throughout, then probably there can be a chance that I score 5 to 8%. This is what I hear overall, generally.
But
and the anticipation is really palpable before the annual appraisal cycle. So I have seen so many annual appraisal cycles in these decades, and this is the kind of answer that I get from most of the people who have reached out to me. If you feel that this is really something that you have done before or doing it currently, then please write to us. We would love to know it from your comments. And then what happened after the appraisal cycle?
So the fun is now going to be here. Okay, now you're waiting. That appraisal cycle is coming. You made your plans. You told your family, "Ki abhi mein promotion hone wala hai," all that stuff. And then sometimes expectations fall short. And the manager gives you the explanation, the dreaded bell curve, advising you to wait another year with the promise of discussing a salary increase within higher ups. Don't worry, I'm going to make this for you. But to ek saal aur next year, definitely 2 line mein, your promotion is going to happen. Or worse, you find yourself profoundly disappointed, somewhere also cheated, somewhere feeling betrayed, all those emotions you go through. And watching, the worst part can be when you're watching your juniors, okay, receiving better rises. Sir, mujhe itna percent hike mila. Oh God. And then that feeling is so undervalued and even taken for granted. Probably I have not been valued, I've been taken granted. Have you ever been in this place before? Please write down in the comment box.
So I remember one of my, I think 2 years back, one of my clients who became my client later came in and said this exact thing, that I was a hero in my organization for 8 years. And now they seem to take me for granted. My juniors have got promoted and they have put me on hold. So I'm sure each one of you listening would have been through something similar in your entire career of 12 to 15 years. If yes, if you have, then I truly empathize with your frustration. It often feels like your career is entirely at the mercy of your manager, a higher authority who determines your fate. And managers then can seem like those powerful gods deciding the trajectory of your career in the coming years. But my question to you is, Should it be this way? Or do you want to regain the control of your career?
It is important that where do you want to be the control in whose hand? Because if you're going to give the control in your boss hand, then you're going to feel anxiety, anxious, insecure, fearful. That's very important. Now, if you are nodding that you want to have the control in your hands, you want to seize the reins, then grab your notepads, all of you there, and stay in your seat for the next 25 minutes. Because what we are going to share, a step-by-step process to help you to change and charge of your career development. You're going to take charge of it. You're not going to allow anybody to take charge of your life, your career. Allowing you to engage in meaningful conversations with your manager or boss. Ultimately, this could lead to a successful and fulfilling career on your terms and conditions, because that's what is extraordinary life. Life on your terms and conditions. And I'm sure all of you who are watching live now and watching us later, I know one thing, that all of us want a life on our terms and conditions.
So how many of you are really interested in this topic? If I could hear from you, then I would love to really not waste time anymore. Let's straight dive into the topic of how to have career development conversation with your boss. And I've employed this approach with all my clients for this past decade. And believe me, it's really proven to be very, very beneficial and efficient way of doing it. So what do you do when you do career development? You know, why most of the time when I feel anxious is because I'm actually not thinking about my career. I believe that I've worked, I've performed very well this year. Now it's up to my manager to have a look at my work, and it's pay time. I'm going to get rewarded for what I have really delivered. Is it wrong? Partially yes, partially no. Partially yes, because that's what is expected out of you, that you perform and you expect that you get rewarded. Partially no, because just because you're performing doesn't mean that you should get your career growth. Career growth is just not restricted towards a promotion or a salary hike. It's much more beyond that. What is that? Let's try and understand in this simple 9 steps. The first one is about creating your own career map. It's your career. How can someone else define it for you? So start by charting your path. Where do you envision yourself in the next 1, 2, or 3 years? Long term should definitely be 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. But if you've not been used to that way of living life, looking at your career, then at least start by the next 1, 2, or 3 years. Then assess your current position compared to your future aspirations. So I'm here, and this is where I want to reach in the next 3 years. This is where I want to reach the next 1 year. And then try and identify the steps needed to bridge that gap. How do you do it? Let's look at the next steps.
So once your map is ready now, where you are and when you need to reach, and the gap, how do we do it? Now you need to define your future on your terms. That's what is leading an extraordinary life. Your life, you will put the terms condition. Understand that it's your future isn't limited to a job title or promotion within your current company. It should be your customized journey, considering your life stage, career choices, and your passion. That's very important. Explore various roles within your current function or department that align with your strength and interest. This is very, very crucial. Let's consider a scenario. If you are a chartered accountant and working in the finance department, there are various avenues within the domain to explore. You might contemplate transitioning to a different vertical within finance. Ask yourself whether this new area aligns better with your interest, if it makes more sense, or if it offers opportunities for growth and learning. This is very critical. So, which means what we're trying to say, no need to stick to something one. You can explore stuff there, because end of the day, you want to grow. You want to have growth in terms of position, money, salary, everything. So you need to explore.
Right. Another instance that you can ponder is whether you would prefer to remain an individual contributor or take on a managerial role. Do you really thrive on technical aspects of your current position, or you find fulfillment in managing and leading people? Each of these options present very distinct career path So it is just not about the next position in the company's ladder, but what is of your interest. Additionally, it is worth considering whether your current life phase calls for a more manageable workload. For example, you're a woman and you're planning to start your family. Now, you would probably want to be in a comfortable situation where you'll be able to handle both these things. You can go through this phase of life and then explore exponential growth in your career. Today, you want to take it slow, or else all of a sudden your health is demanding your attention. You're going through an emotional breakdown, or probably your physical health is screaming at the top of your head saying, I need time and attention from you. If that is the situation, then it's about looking at first managing your health and then looking at your career. And that's why I said it's your journey. You have to customize it to your requirements. So, what is the current phase of life that you are in, or probably the health situation you're in, or probably the role you've been playing for 12, 15 years? Now you want to shift in the same function in a different domain, or probably move from doing a technical expertise to something which is to do with people. What is it for you? It's only you who can decide.
Absolutely. Now, the third thing, you need to identify your strengths. List your strengths and skills on a piece of paper. Don't keep it here. Write them. Because when you write, you're able to feel it. We evolve over time. So probably what strengths you would have 10 years back, probably you would have much more strengths today. Okay? And our strengths also evolve. You don't realize you possess many of them. And they would have emerged in these 10 years of span. Sometimes others have noticed that these strengths before you did, they would have complimented you. But you wouldn't have acknowledged that in your mind. Now, take a moment to jot down your existing strength and see how they connect with your aspiration, where you want to reach. If they don't align, okay, and seamlessly as you would like to, then it's time to consider making some adjustment. We all need to do some adjustment like. For instance, think about the distinctions between role like a program manager. Distinction, okay? Program manager, product manager, or a project manager. There are three different managers. All of these paths offer room for growth, but it's essential for you to choose the one that best complements your strength and your capabilities. So depending on the strength that you have, you need to identify that should I go in A, B, or C role. It's all manager, but which area would I like to go?
So, for example, if I look back in my career, sales was the weakest area because I really didn't know how to communicate with people. That was something coming inherently from my personality of really being a shy and an introvert person. But over these years, as I grew, I met people, I spoke on various platforms. I really took efforts to develop as a speaker. Today, if I get an opportunity, I really interact with the crowd wonderfully well. So this strength has emerged in the last 15 years. But if I had to look back in the career, in my first 10 years, no one would have imagined that I could do this wonderfully. So I'm sure some strengths would have emerged. Sometimes when you go through certain crisis, that is where something new comes up. And someone says, oh, wow, I never thought this is something that you had in you as a person. Crisis does bring in those elements of surprise. So what are these certain things which have emerged over these years and you have not acknowledged them, though a person next to you would have said, oh, wow, this is something new. I never knew existed in you. You would just laugh it away and walk over. So what are your strengths? It's really very important to jot them down. And then, of course, one very crucial thing, know the expectations. Clarifying the company's expectation for your role, the position that you're holding, and what your manager expects out of you is very, very important. Initiate this conversation at the beginning of the year or when you're starting a new job to avoid surprises during appraisal. So, what we just mentioned, that you were expecting and it didn't happen. That happens because the manager was expecting something more out of you, or probably the management expected something more from this position. You were not aware of it. Keep your manager informed about your progress monthly or at least quarterly. Now, you might assume that having this conversation is common sense. Ideally, everyone should be doing it. However, based on my decade-long experience and interaction with numerous individuals, it's apparent that not everyone engages in such discussion with their boss. The consequence of this neglect often becomes evident during the appraisal time. When the manager points out the areas where you fell short. So you did very well in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but you didn't notice that 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 were not that priority, but they definitely counted if you had to get that promotion, and you missed out on those parameters. And that is why it can impact the benefits you might have otherwise received. So to avoid such pitfalls, proactively schedule a meeting with your boss to clarify the expectation he or the management has. And of course, once you've established this dialogue, then it's time to maintain an open and regular communication by updating your manager on your progress. Ideally, once a month, if not possible, then definitely on a quarterly basis. This way, you can stay on track and ensure that your efforts are aligning with your organization's expectation. Otherwise, you would have truly worked for 12, 14, 15, 16 hours, given it your best, and you would have assumed that you're ranking the best in the country on these 5 parameters. But you didn't look at something which was also important along with this.
This is very critical for those people, and I'm sure all of you who are continuously coming live and listening to us are people who are interested in acing your career. Because there are a lot of people out there who are very happy with what's going on. They do not want to, and I know quite a few of them. Like when they speak to me, I'm scared to do this conversation with my boss because he's going to load with me a lot of work which I don't want to. मेरे को नहीं चाहिए बॉस, वो सब नहीं चाहिए, वो फालतू में बोलेगा ये भी कर, ये भी कर, ये भी कर, मुझे नहीं करना है. But I definitely want that he should give me the promotion. I definitely want he gives me 20% hike. Now that is where the challenge comes. That I do not want to work. I do not want to fulfill my company's, my boss expectation, but I definitely want that kind of growth. But I'm sure you are not those people. That's why you're here. You want to ace your career. And if you want to ace your career, you need to make this happen. This is your life. He's not going to be interested in that. You'll have to. And that is why the fifth step is once you've spoken to him, then you need to formalize career development meeting. You need to formalize it because it's your career. You need to ensure that you are having a meeting on a regular basis. Now, when discussing your career development with your manager, make it a formal official meeting. It should not be while you're having a lunch or when you're having a fag or when you're drinking or in the party or in the drive. No. It's
or on the passage when you're walking.
Or on the passive when you can't do that. It's an official meeting. It's to do with the growth of your company, organization. So is yours. So you need to take it. Like if it's a company growth, they will make you sit in a meeting. You also need to do it. Block time on their calendar. Create a document, a Word or Excel, whichever you are comfortable with, and list down all the points that we just discussed. Because many a times when we go there, we are sitting in front of the boss, and if we do not have written, the boss starts, humble cat. He starts only like that because he is not so keen about it. Now you ask for the meeting. Oh, tell me what you want to speak. Now you're feeling not so great. But if you have it written in front of you, okay, sir, just give me a minute. Open the page. He'll see this guy is completely prepared. He's damn serious. Now you talk 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how you need to go about it.
The sixth point is how do you start the discussion, right? So progress first and then the future plans. What do I mean by this? Start by sharing your progress. Now the progress is, you remember, we spoke about the expectation the boss has or the management has from you. So start by sharing your progress on how well you have done over these months. Then talk about your future plans. Once you've discussed that, then request for a feedback and be open to it. This is what I feel I would like to do further. Probably I want to explore a new opportunity in my department, in a different function, different vertical, or probably I want to move from an individual contributor to a manager. Whatever that is, first share it with him and then ask for his feedback. It's crucial to maintain an open mindset when receiving feedback from your boss. If the feedback is valid and constructive, then be willing to embrace the suggested change. You know why? Because often we carry emotional biases when we are evaluating our own performance. So it's essential to approach the feedback with a receptive attitude and an open heart.
And also, what you can do, take some time to reflect and evaluate the feedback before responding. Okay, so generally I used to do this with my boss. I used to start the meeting that last time, as we had discussed, these were the three things you told me to do, and this is what I've already over surpassed. So anything you want to suggest, is there any different way I could have done? This is how it started. Then you can start. Then you can inform your boss that you appreciate the input that you would like to take. Said last time, sir, when you said this and I implemented, and I'm really happy that you gave me this feedback. That's really helped me. Now, this is very important. Appreciating the input, to take some time to consider it before discussing potential adjustments. This thoughtful approach can lead to more effective and informed responses to the feedback that you receive. Because if you are not open to that feedback, your boss will not give you that feedback, because from your body language, the boss will come to know that are you really open, or you're just saying for the heck of saying.
So one thing also is very crucial. When you involve someone in the discussion, he becomes more accountable. He feels more committed to you. And that is why it's very important that you go there with that open mind. You may not be able to deal with it. You can tell him that I'll get back to you, sir. You gave me a valid point. Let me think over and get back to you, right? And then what you need to do, the seventh step is about, now we're talking about bridging the gap. You have to reach there. So skill development. Once you have reached a consensus on your development goals, career development goals with your boss, then it's time to identify the hard and the soft skills you need to acquire. It could be leadership skills, you're moving to a leadership position. It could be communication skills because you've never dealt with a team, or probably a new technology and some new tool has emerged, and probably you need a certification, the next level certification to move ahead. So what is that you really need to move to the next level? And then determine if the company can support you financially and time wise to pursue these skills, because sometimes the classes can be at the time when you're having certain meetings. Today, like we all know, work life has no cutoff time. But if that time you have to excuse yourself from that meeting, that can only be possible if your manager knows that you're going through this course, and probably this week or the next week you will not be able to attend these meetings, the regular meetings that happen once in a while. So it's very, very important to figure out if the company will support you. Now, remember I told you, have that open mind and discuss. This is where it comes into picture. Now you can ask your manager if he can recommend you for this kind of support, because many companies have this training and development programs. They give you an option to study. And today, though, companies have become open to giving you financial aid, and you can choose a career option plans in terms of I want to take up this course, or I want to study from there, or this college, or these kind of institutes which have come up which just do online classes. What is that you want? If you can tell them, they can really support you in growing further.
Absolutely. Now, the whole conversation is over. Discussion is over. Plan has been set. Now, tell me, what is the next thing you need to do, which most of the people don't do? And that is take action. Because that's where many people fall through. They are not able to take necessary action. So once you have your manager's approval, start implementing your plan and keep your manager updated on your progress. Because that's very important that you keep you updated. Because everybody, like as a coach, I love when people come and share, my clients come and share their progress, every day, every week, every fortnight, every month, when they're progressing, it gives us so much of happiness. It feels good because someone is taking that ownership, someone is taking the responsibility, then it's better to inform them. Then you being regular and sincere with the course deadline is very important. So you've taken a course, you've decided to do it, but you're not serious about it. You're just avoiding. Like I know quite a few people, 3 months coach, 6 months ho gaya, and they're not even going for it because abhi ye busy tha. So the boss realizes, this guy is not that serious. He's just taking for granted. That's why those deadlines are important. So take action.
And then, of course, apply what you learn. Now, this is the most important part in your career development growth path. Don't wait until the course is complete. For example, you've enrolled into a course which is 3 months. Now you will think that I'll study everything, then I'll finish all the assignments, I will complete everything, I will submit it, I will get the certification, and then I will go and tell my manager I've done it. Will it really help? I don't think so, because you've forgotten most of the things while you read them. So consider how you can apply what you're learning in your organization week to week or month to month, whichever way the course has been placed. Because that is where you understand that if you want to implement this, these are the challenges that can come up. Now, when you get to know these challenges, then you can actually reach out to the instructors in the course that this is what I was trying to apply in my organization and this is what happened. Tell me what is an option. Or even discussing it with the peers in the course, because all of them are like you, right? They're mid-age professionals, they have their own experience and expertise, they come from various different industries, different work culture. So it's an amazing environment to brainstorm. And I feel that learning really expands multifold when you're having these sessions. If you're just going there, listening one-sided, coming and doing your notes, you've not even learned 15 to 20%. But when you're applying it, you're implementing it, you're challenging yourself to see how practically it happens. And wherever you get stuck, you come back, ask your peers, find a solution and implement. Then that is how you start bringing value to your organization from the ongoing process of learning, right? Then it becomes a great value add. And imagine if you've implemented something really new. It is helping the organization, your manager and your manager's boss would want you to implement such kind of things in different places. You never know, a new role emerges. Change management is one of the most important aspect of a leadership role. And you become a part of it because you successfully implemented something new. So it's only when you go beyond your box of what you're supposed to do, you implement new things, you interact with your peers, because when you're implementing, obviously you're not in the position of authority. Now you have to reach out to the people where you want to implement this idea. So your communication skills enhance. You learn how to influence people who are not below you. That again is an art, right? You learn negotiations. So whenever you do this, the value that you bring to your organization becomes multi-flowed when you learn, you implement, and you measure the results. Now imagine these results, you go to your manager that thank you very much, you funded my this course, these are the things I've implemented, and these are the results that I've got in the organization. What do you think will happen? Will he think that let me postpone his promotion for the next year, or he will do something else? You know what he'll do? He will create probably a new role for you. I've had that experience with my client, and so has Dheeraj. That new roles have opened up for those people who have done this process. So have you really?
So have you jotted down all the steps what you've told you? And if you have done so, I'm pretty confident that you will be feeling more in control of your career growth. Implementing these steps increases your chances of being recommended for new opportunities within your current organization. I have seen managers to go to great lengths to create opportunities for dedicated employees, because there are clients who we are coaching, we hire and they are in a position, but when they see such juniors who go beyond their way and who do what has been told, that's how they want to ensure that they get their recommendation and they get their first opportunity for promotion.
So I would like to reiterate the 9 steps so that you can write it down and don't forget it. First, it's create your career map.
Second, define your future on your terms.
Third one is identify your strength.
Fourth, know what are the expectations your company and your manager has.
Fifth, formalize a career development meeting.
Progress first, then future plans.
7, skill development.
8, take necessary action.
And finally, apply what you're learning in your organization. Is it a solid plan? Yes, of course it is, but it requires action. So this weekend, instead of just thinking on it, work on it and have a crucial career development conversation with your manager. Best of luck from both of you.